going to be a very tight schedule because of the presidential primaries of the MPP.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I can imagine. So, first, let's start with your own expectations of tomorrow. What do you expect the MPP to do?
Well, I think that it is just going to be business as usual. Yes, we know that there are high stakes, or the stakes are high, and I think if you look at the Kennedy camp, they have been able to prosecute a certain campaign that has virtually led to the heightening of tension within the party, and to the extent that they had to sign a peace pact to ensure that there is that, artificial unity, artificial forward-looking. We are no longer at each other's throat. That should tell you that the MPP is at a crossroads. But I believe that they will be able to come out of this impending elections probably unscathed. And then whoever wins, will take it upon himself to ensure that those things that they have been saying about unity and so on and so forth will not be considered as empty rhetorics. So for that, I have to wish them well and pray that we have a solid or strong opposition within our democracy to keep the government in check.
I see, that's interesting. You said the peace pact, what it will do is artificial unity. You said it's artificial forward looking. Are you suggesting that peace pact will make no impact at all?
If on the D-Day, that is tomorrow, if there isn't that much transparency, if it is not freely and fairly organized, procedural errors here and there, arm twisting, intimidation recorded, pockets of violence here and there, then it would have meant that the peace pact would have been just a facade. You see, it is one way of tying the hands of those that probably the party think could be problematic going forward, and then you will have to appreciate the fact that for an internal contest to lead to a peace pact or the sign of a peace pact means that there isn't that natural sense of unity. So it means that this particular unity is artificially generated, or the call for unity is artificially generated. It is not born out of the natural instinct for the need to unite. And so the elections itself may not be the problem, but what happens after the elections, that would be of prime importance to the party. And that is where we'll know whether others may forgive others, whether they will be ready to come together, right, and fight for a common cause. Only time will tell.
I see. You said what the party needs to do is a free and fair process.
Pardon me?
What the party needs to ensure, if it wants peace, is a free and fair process tomorrow.
Yes, certainly.
But then I want your commentary on the polls, because the number of polls have increased in the lead up to the elections. What do you think? What do you think the strategy is?
Well, I think everybody seems to have a good reason to suggest that the polls or the elections will sway to this direction or sway to the other direction. And they are all based on sound reasoning. If you look at Mr. Kennedy's, the polls that are in favor of him, I think his is probably even more than Dr. Bawumia in terms of the number of polls that have been done, as it were, to let us know who is likely to win. think there are more polls in his favor than that of Dr. Bawumia. Maybe Dr. Bawumia, I can talk about maybe that of Global Info Analytics and Dr. Domfe. I've forgotten their name. Then you have Sane or Sanity Africa and one Dr. Dia.
Yes.
Yes. Those one two in favor of Mr. Kennedy. But the truth be told that if you look at the situation now, the dynamics are quite different from what we saw in 2023 November. We are looking at a situation where there is a third element that has been introduced, and that is the brine factor. Now, it is either the delegate believe that voting for him will not bring the change that they are looking for. If that is the case, then it means that those votes will most likely go to Kennedy Japan. Now, if they believe in Dr. Bryan, to vote for him will mean that naturally he may have taken some vote from Dr. Bawumia and that of Kennedy Japan. But I think more will be from Kennedy Japan because of the demographics. Because it appears they are eating from the same bowl. Then if you go to Dr. Bawumia's camp, obviously the architecture, the organization itself, favors him. Not that he's a better candidate, but the organization, the organogram, the architecture itself of the delegate system now favors him. Because we are looking at more than probably 80% of those who voted in the 2023 still having their names on the register, apart from those who might have died and those who might have resigned. If that is the case, then you don't expect a cataclysmic change, a 360-degree change of mind of these delegates to the point where they say that they wouldn't want to vote for Dr. Bawumia again. That change would be too drastic. And then, though the conference that they did, that they brought those amendments, which allowed certain demographics to be part of the register, I think that most of those numbers will equally belong to the establishment. And so they are more likely to sway to Dr. Bawumia's side. So if you look at it from that perspective, then it means that from the word go, Dr. Bawumia is one step ahead of the rest. And as I said, it doesn't mean that he is a better candidate, but it is because of the organization or the organogram. So if you look at it from that perspective, that is why I've said that if Dr. Bawumia does not win one touch and they go for a second round, he will lose.
If he does not win
Yes.
the first round of voting,
if he does not win as a one-touch election, then he will lose the rerun.
Why?
Because
What permutation?
The rest will gang up against him. Of course, the other four are looking for a change. They want a different leader. That is why they are contesting. So if you want a different leader and they are going for a second round, it makes logical sense that you support the person who came second. And then probably those who did not get the opportunity to vote or who did not show their readiness to vote can equally be whipped into it. Now, you see, if it goes for a second round, the change agent will gain more momentum than the established candidate or the establishment candidate. The change agent will gain more momentum than the establishment candidate. The establishment candidate will panic, right? Because they wouldn't know what else they will have to do to ensure that they go a little higher than what they might have gotten.
See, very, very interesting analysis. Anyway, let's leave the MPP there and let me conclude with you because I know you have other engagements. On the NDC, this matter of if you want to contest for party positions, resign 6 months to that particular election. For the constituency, they said by April you should have resigned. What do you think of that move?
Well, I think that is not new. obviously they do not want, conflict of interest, a situation where others may use the position they have in government to their advantage, and those who may not be in government, it's like they are in opposition. So to ensure a free and fair, system organization, you'll have to call on them to resign. But probably the NDC will have to take it a notch higher, as I advise that the MPP took that particular, decision. And their decision is that if they come into government and you are an elected officer, maybe regional secretary, maybe constituency this and all those things, and you get the opportunity to serve in government, you will have to resign one particular position, and that will mean the one that you got elected for, you will have to resign that. And I think that will make efficient system of government. It does not mean that the party will be too divorced from the government. Whichever way you look at it, take for example Mr. Sami Jemfi, Basintele, and the likes. Where are they? In terms of party communication, where are they? They are busily working. So in order for them not to get distracted, they ought to, resign that particular position, focus on government business, deliver so that the party will equally be happy, and that those who will take up those positions will equally work for the party. These things tend to weaken the structures of the party, and that's exactly what affected the MPP. Once the structures of the party are not really functioning, then it means that the grassroots would have no opportunity to voice their grievances to those or to the powers that be. You see, as it stands now, there is that general disquiet or some despondency, among the grassroots of the party in government, because the interface is not there. What is that interface? The interface between the party and the government. Here is the case, people that, they had a rapport with when they were in opposition. Now they are in government holding positions, and they are not ready to pick the calls of these people. And when the time is due, you go back asking them to come and work for you so that you get power or you retain it. They have been doing this throughout the Fourth Republic. Problem is the Wallace's era may not be bad. But that general despondency is what leads to apathy. The government is performing creditably well, no two ways about that. But the party structures, the organization, is leading to some kind of despondency because the ladder that the grassroots will use to climb to the top, they are not getting that ladder. And once it begins like that, and you don't find means of solving those problems, that is when apathy, begin to rear its ugly head.
I see. Doc, thank you. Thank you as always.
Thank you, Mr. Sela.
Dr. Jonathan Asante Otchere is Executive Director, African Institute of Strategic Studies. Join us on the line on two issues, the NDC's press conference yesterday, the MPP's primaries that we asked him about. Well, we'll continue our conversations on these issues. SM first, please, on Susie Herbal.